No problem.
Okay, so we are live.
Okay. Good evening,
Uh,
everyone.
hello. Yes. Welcome to episode 168 of An American Werewolf in New Jersey. I am the American Werewolf. In the house tonight, I have the wonderful and cool Yukko. Yukko, am I saying that
Mm-hmm.
correct? Ellie
Yes.
Onishi. And Ellie is the star of Toshi Asaka's latest film, or one of the major stars in his latest film, The Samurai, where she plays. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. But
Okay.
first of all, I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time, and welcome to the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a really honor to be on this show with you tonight, and I hope that I can share some of the stories like within the samurai and maybe like a little bit of stories about myself. So pleased to meet everyone on the other side.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's not the Joe Rogan experience, but we do have
Mm-hmm.
some interaction here. So hold on a second. We've got a comment already. We've got my friend Eric. He says, "Welcome
Hi,
to the channel,
Eric.
Yuko." So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Eric's really cool and is always on the channel, almost weekly.
Great. Thank you.
Um, so yeah, this is a channel that loves to talk about samurai films. We don't do it often enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had Toshi-san on once for the Ronins and then again for the Samurai,
Mm-hmm.
and having the opportunity to watch the Samurai, I told him that initially it started off with Amazon. I rented it,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time I had finished watching the film, I actually went back and purchased it.
Yes, I heard that. It was really
I
grateful
was
to hear that.
Yeah, I was extremely impressed. I enjoyed that movie thoroughly. And,
Oh.
the fact that I, move back and forth with Japan, as often as I can. I used to
Mm-hmm.
make it before COVID twice a year. I was like, yeah, that's what a sensei is like. Yeah, that is what,
Yes.
all these
Mm-hmm.
different things. So I had the opportunity to, meet you through Twitter. You
Yes.
agreed to come on. So, thank you
Mm-hmm.
very much once again. Um,
Oh, thank you.
you said that I saw in your Twitter bio, and we talked about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're American. Is
Yes.
this
Well,
correct? Okay, so original you.
um,
Yeah, go ahead.
I used to. I was born in the States,
Okay,
and but my parents are both Japanese,
okay,
so I am Japanese. But I
okay.
am an American-born Japanese person.
The
So
hyphenated American strikes again. Okay, yes,
yeah.
I've got a hyphen too. All right, so there.
So, like, literally, when I was a little child and brought up in the States, I thought I was American and I didn't really speak Japanese at all.
Okay.
And um, from middle school, I went back to Japan um,
Oh, okay.
because I applied for a middle school exam, like a private school in Japan. And um, it was just to get a feeling of what an exam is to apply for like schools, private schools in Japan. And my parents didn't think that I would even pass that test.
Okay.
And my family still lived in the States, but
Mhm.
because that I was applied to that middle school and I made it, they were like, okay, you can go to college, after just applying to that middle school. So you go on ahead and go back to Japan on yourself. And I was like, okay,
Wait, wait, wait,
where am I
wait,
going
wait,
to live?
wait. Now, wait. At what age did they? How old were you when this is happening? You're going back to
So
Japan,
11, 12.
so they didn't like you.
That's what I thought. So I was really shocked.
You can go to Japan now. You can go to Japan. You right? Here's a ticket.
Hmm.
Sit in that seat, and yeah,
Yeah.
there's no Skype or anything like that. Have fun. Write a letter.
Hmm.
It's all good. Wow,
Yeah.
that's adventure. That's high adventure. 11 years old.
Hmm.
So were you? I mean, were you intimidated? Were you excited? Or
So I
did you
really
speak Japanese?
a little. but the formal Japanese, the keigo, like
Mm.
arigatou gozaimasu,
Ah,
like
yes.
being proper to the elderly and stuff like that. I lived with my grandparents,
Okay.
my mother's side grandparents, but they were like, they were shocked by me not being able to speak proper Japanese. But yeah, that's how I grew up.
It's never
But
good enough for grandparents. Yes, you know. If you can't do it the way it was done 150 years ago, even though you're three,
hmm
someone has, yeah, someone's not making the cut here. So you end up going back to Japan,
hmm
and how does that go?
well, so I came back to Japan, and um
Because
I was there until like 1.5 years, and I kind of started giving up because I didn't like the Japanese school culture. I guess I didn't fit in.
is it
And
structured? Is it structured?
mhm, a
Yeah.
bit.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
say.
Everything is very strong, and I love it. I don't know how
hmm
well I would do. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's very to the form of things.
Yes.
Yes,
So I
everything is
wasn't
about the
used
form.
to that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna go back to the States where, my family lives. And my parents were like, oh, okay, 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 let's take a break. And you can come back once, but you're gonna go back to Japan again. And I was like, well, okay, at least if I can go to the States and, chill out with my friends in Michigan. I was brought up in Michigan, so
Right.
if I could spend my days, like, several days with my friends in America, then maybe my feelings would change. And literally, that 6 months maybe that I was in the States really changed my mind. And I was like, okay, well, people are people, and Japanese culture has their way. So
Hmm.
maybe it's the best that I, start to adjust myself, because I am Japanese on one side. And so I should understand and try to at least challenge living their way as well. So from
Okay.
there, I started liking Japanese culture. But of course, I wasn't really very good at using the proper Japanese yet, but still enjoyed the life and graduated college. But while I was in as a student, I started liking street dance, and so I became a dancer after I
Okay.
graduated college. But after that, I retired as the dancer and became an event organizer
Okay.
for a company. But
Okay.
I still liked expressing stuff, and
Sure.
that's how I kind of found Asaka-san, Toshi-san's movie audition
Okay.
information. Yeah.
Okay.
So from I didn't really have any acting skills, and I kind of was interested in maybe like acting, but it was a great chance for me when I saw that we can act in English, but we're going to take a Japanese samurai movie. And I was like,
Okay.
how interesting is that? So,
Okay.
yeah, that's the way I kind of met Toshi san.
Okay, so
hmm
you end up. Hold on a second. We got another comment here. It's Eric again, and he says, "Sure, come on home for a little bit, then you're going right back." And
yes.
we should mention, you did say that you're in Michigan, so I could see why you would want to leave and go to Japan because you'd be in Michigan for the same reason that I'm in New Jersey. Yeah, yeah.
hmm
It's just. But I mean, Japan is. I love Japan. I think it's a great place. For the most part, I found that people are extremely friendly and affable.
hmm
It's safe.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. For ladies and things like that. You can go out and
hmm
have a nice time and not have really any concerns about anything over the top or anything like that. Yeah, Japan's a great place, and if you're in the stream, I have a lot of friends. That travel back and forth to Japan, and yeah, they all have the same feeling about it. So that's cool.
hmm
Let me just real quick. What did you study in college? So was it
Um,
related to the arts or
yes. Basically about art. I didn't I wasn't really good at math and stuff like that. So I went to literature based art and literature
Okay.
based things, but it wasn't really directed to um, how would you say it,
Performance.
performance itself. Yes, so like
Okay.
rather more to architecture and stuff like that. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it worked.
So when did you? I mean, when did you start to? And let me ask this again. I mean, is I suppose it is. This is maybe a dull question, but let me ask from your perspective. Um,
Mhm.
are the arts? Is there a strong art culture in Japan in terms of
Mm.
movies and films like that? That's kind of a big thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Japanese theater and
Mhm.
then live action films and stage production and that sort of thing.
Yes. Thank you. I think the Japanese entertainment like industry itself is really exciting, and the art culture has a lot of sides to it. So like the big productions, of course, are very interesting. Like connecting to maybe these days like anime
Okay.
and stuff like that. But the I really like um, the theater actings, like watching them in maybe like Shimokitazawa or like places. They have small theaters, but
Okay.
they have many actors. Like there are so many talented people in Japan, but it's like it's kind of like a shame that we can't really promote them, overseas as much. And I am not like an actor, so I want to make more opportunities for the Japanese actors and talented people, performers, to actually send their performance and their shows like for
Abroad.
anyone to see. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think that there's a distinct difference, and this is unfortunate. And I think, for anybody who's in the arts, whether it's music or film or acting, these sorts of things,
Hmm.
there's a universe of difference, unfortunately, between being talented and being famous.
Mm, yes.
It's a
Hmm.
very narrow, it's a bottleneck, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, yeah, not everybody gets through. I have friends that do local stage production here. They love it. They've been doing it
Hmm.
for decades. They're not famous,
Mm,
but it's the love of the actual performance, the love of rehearsing,
hmm.
even though sometimes they want to pull their hair out, this kind of thing,
Yeah.
with the difficulties that come along,
Hmm.
they keep doing it every year, so whether it's here locally here in New Jersey, I have some
Mm,
friends out in Los Angeles, always hoping, that one break is going to come, but still, even
yeah.
though it hasn't happened, they're always involved in the stage, that kind
Hmm.
of thing. There are so many talented people just out there that are, sometimes it doesn't happen for them. But, we
Hmm.
keep pushing so that, with the internet now and social media, these types of things can be seen. The
Yes.
opportunity for, Toshi-san to put this movie on Amazon.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
the outreach, thanks to the internet, the internet can actually be useful,
Hmm.
from
So
time to time.
yeah, I really felt that like as a dancer because I used to be a member of the EL squad, called Wrecking Crew within Wrecking Crew Orchestra, and um, it was our performance went viral on YouTube
Okay.
because Paris Hilton
Okay.
shared our performance,
Okay.
and
Okay.
yeah, so like because well, thanks to that, like the internet, we got to travel around the world, like maybe 20 countries or so,
Nice.
and we got to share our performance like actually overseas, and that experience really kind of helped me to build up like my event organizer side. So I'm no longer performing like on stage like as a dancer, but for my knowledge and the promotion ways to output people overseas is kind of um, like a really rare experience and a thankful experience that I had. And because of that, I want to have a chance to promote Toshi-san's movie because I think it is so unique, and the way he makes the movies is really interesting. And as the sword fighting skills, maybe we can talk about that a little later, but he actually teaches us,
Yeah.
and he has the master. So we, like, as not knowing anything from the start, it's probably hard for him to teach us every time, but it's really a grateful chance. And you know we would like his style to be known to more overseas, because the sword fighting scenes aren't fake.
Right.
So it's really built up, and we have training, and you know it's really interesting. I'm so sorry,
The,
my vocabulary isn't coming out. So
no, no. I mean, my interpretation, especially with watching the Samurai, is that there's a lot of heart involved.
hmm
And it was obvious to me that everyone in the film actually cared.
mm,
And
yes.
so people were investing. It was a great story with a great deal of feeling,
hmm
and that translated very well for me on the other side of the planet. So these are films that are in performances and direction it's worth talking
hmm
about.
Thank you.
Yes, fantastic. How did you end up? I mean, how did you end up meeting Osaka, Toshi-san? How did you
uh,
end up?
yeah, so I, like, literally applied for the audition, and
Yeah,
for the Ronins.
yeah, the Ronins. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm But I couldn't make it to the audition because of my job and, like, lessons that were involved. And but I really wanted to participate in it, so I was like, please, if there's any chance, I, could you maybe give me like 5 minutes for to talk, or I'll do anything. And
Right, yeah,
just maybe on the backside, so maybe like translating jobs, anything, I'll do
yeah,
anything. I just want to participate in this
right,
project because it sounds so exciting. And
yeah.
um that's really how I got to actually meet Toshi-san. And um he kind of like had a short interview and checked my English, and he's like, okay, pretty native. And so I was like, yeah, I think so. and,
I've been there. I've been
and
there.
yeah, so you know great, it was a great chance opportunity that I got to play the okami, the
Hmm.
tea master,
Yes.
the house master. And it was really exciting. And the members in that film also were really great members. It was many characters all have their individual personalities, and it was really exciting. So you know from there, it's just like every time, if Toshi-san's making a new film, I'm always interested in participating in any part. So
That's what he said. He
mhm,
said now it's become about relationships
mhm,
and people that he feels are trustworthy and that he can rely on, and so it's just an easy ask.
mhm.
Because you saw many of the same people in the Ronins as you did in the
Yes.
Samurai.
Mhm,
The leads were the same.
mhm,
You running the tea shop in the first movie, then working as Rin, the wife in
mhm,
the second film. It was the transition. I mean, it's a much larger role in the Samurai because you're
mm.
playing the
Yeah.
wife of how should you say it? It's kind of a damaged person.
Mhm.
He's been damaged. He's taken a very bad injury, so he can
Yes.
no longer perform the physical functions of sword fighting. So he falls into a very deep depression.
Mhm.
He's doing a lot of binge, a lot of heavy drinking, feeling sorry
Yes.
for himself. These sorts of things. And so while you had a good role in the first one, I thought that your role in this movie here was
Mhm.
a core role. because you are the stabilizing force in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt without that particular character and you performing it, he just would have fell right down into the hole. But you just have a way of keeping him going,
Mm-hmm.
with empathy, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought it was I thought it was just a great role. I mean, here's a shot from the film where he's just
Yes.
completely passed out, and
Mm-hmm.
you never completely lose it on him, bless
Mm-hmm.
you. But you're clearly kind of exasperated, and there's a lot of eye rolling, and I thought, your corneas were going to
Yes.
detach at one point because your eyes were rolling so much,
Mm-hmm.
But you stick it out with them, and you know the arc of his redemption and the family's redemption
Mm-hmm.
is largely in part to your influence or your character's influence.
Yeah.
What did you think of that role when you read it? I mean, did you audition for that role, or did Toshi-san say, "Well, I have a role for you here. I think this is for you." How did that come apart for the samurai?
Yeah. So for this samurai Rin, Toshi-san um s- talked to me and asked if I would like to play this role. And
Okay.
so I believe that he had an image of the characteristic kind of to have a connection between how I would express it in a way. And so when I first read the story, I was really interested in becoming Rin because I'm not married and I am not, I've never experienced the wife of a samurai. So,
Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mhm. But the way she kind of has the definite confidence that her husband can be someone is so strong, and the way she's like, she's strong on one side, but she keeps the love towards Kenji, like, and it's not something like, oh, I like you, I love you. It's not that. It's just like
No.
the honor and the reliability.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reliability. You got to get
Hmm.
back to Michigan. Hold on a second here. You're
Yeah,
slipping. This
sorry.
is this is yeah. No, no. This is terrible English. No, I'm just kidding. It's terrible English.
Yes. Oh, I have to study a lot.
When I would go overseas, I would be gone for
Hmm.
like a year at a time, and so I would come back, and see my friends and my parents, my dad, this, that, and the other, and I would come back and I would be talking very slowly
Mm.
because I would go to places where English was not the first language. So for
Uh-huh.
some reason, I sort of adapted to it by learning to speak a little more slowly for people. And I would come home. My friends were like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Why are you talking like that? Did you fall on your head?" It isn't New Jersey. It's like the rudest state in like the country. So they're like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Stop it!" Jesus Christ. And then like
Yeah.
I would come back for like 2 weeks or sometimes like 4 weeks, and then I would have to ship back out again, and I would stay just long enough to get back into my normal, New Jersey
Hmm.
fast talking thing again, just to have to go all the way back. And by the time I got on the plane, I was, already slowing down
Yeah.
again. So yeah,
I see.
it happens. It happens. But yeah, you were saying, Rin.
Yeah, so she's really like she has definite confidence that, you know, Kenji is going to be what she really thinks he is. But she understands like what he went through and the depression, and you know, she just knows that she has to keep faith that maybe she can be like make a chance, or give ideas, or just stand by him
Yeah, because
is what supports.
it's a situation where there's not a lot of choices for him.
Hmm.
Like if one of us today, were to have their arm damaged, it would stink, but
Hmm.
you could do just about anything. In the age of samurai, there's not a lot left for him to, if he can't hold that sword, What
Mm-hmm.
are you supposed to do? I mean,
Yes.
hold on a second. We got Toshi-san himself. He's saying, "What's up? Uh, please tell about Rin's attractions." Okay, I'm not
Ah.
sure what that means. That I missed to explain.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
okay, so I hope one of us knows. I hope you know what that means because I do not. But
Mm-hmm.
um, Toshi, if you want to, well, if you want to come in, let me know. I'll send you the link. But
Mm.
yeah, it's almost like you have to hold on until a little bit of providence intervenes.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, there's nothing for him to. If he can't hold the sword, you're not living in the 21st century.
Yeah.
So you have to have that ability to see that.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the film, and that's why I always liked samurai films over the old Run Shaw. The Chinese films. No disrespect to them,
Mm-hmm.
they were good when I was watching them as a teenager. But these are more. They have more adult themes. I think
Mm.
samurai films tend to have more adult
Yes.
themes. There is action, but it's not, the sort of over the top kind of thing. There's a story
Mm-hmm.
there. There's a story there, and that's what I've always appreciated about them. Um, so, what is? Do you know what this means about the attractions that I missed?
I think. Well, actually, I'm
I don't want
more
to put you on the
interested.
spot.
No. Sorry. I'm more interested in hearing, getting a review of maybe what Rin actually felt to the viewers. So I think that maybe the how should I say it, the good part, or the strong part of Rin, and the soft part, the gentle and kind part of Rin, is kind of like the interesting part of maybe the movie, is what I thought. Because she can be really strong and a little bit harsh, but on the other side she can just be really quiet, and just being there is what her oh no, I forgot the English, but it's just the character to be the supporter, or to be someone to lead, is she kind of always vice versa in several scenes. And I think that was really exciting of what being her, because okay, in this scene I can be the leader, and you have to do this, you have to do that, but and on another side I can be just you know the viewer of the scene, and I just supporting that scene, watching them go through everything, is the main character's job. Because back then in the samurai
Era.
periods, yes, era, thank you, Japanese characters, Japanese people didn't have that uh how do you say, class, high class, mm, not maybe high class, but how would you say it, erai,
What do you
erakurai.
refer? Okay, yeah, I know what that means. Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm glad you said
So
that. Okay.
sorry,
No,
I
no,
couldn't get
no.
it in English, but so
But
Japanese
I
people,
think
uh, women were weak, but in this movie it shows how they could be strong on one side, I guess. I don't
I
know
think
how,
that yeah,
if I'm getting the point, but
I, I, I see what you're saying. I mean, she is an extremely strong character, but
hmm
she's not overbearing. She's, I mean,
hmm
in a way, she's kind of perfect because she's strong when she needs to be, and then when it's time to step back, she's willing to do that too.
hmm
When Kenji finally gets his feet underneath him,
yes,
then okay, you know, you're good. Just Go,
Mm.
now do it.
Mhm.
This is what I've been waiting for. Now just go out and do it. No more screwing around. Just go, go, go. That
Mhm.
kind of thing. So I mean, it's a very mature and settled sort of personality that Rin
Mhm.
has. She's not looking to be abusive. She's not frustrated. Like I said, she has a lot of empathy because I think she understands.
Mm.
There's not a lot of choices for my husband here. I don't
Mm.
want all the drinking or anything like that, but
Yeah.
just kind of tolerating it until hopefully the what's that say, the rising tide lifts all ships.
Uh-huh.
So you're waiting for the good
Mm.
times
Mm.
to kind of come back. And eventually they do. One of the characters that I really liked, not to get away from your character, was the sensei.
Mm. Yes.
And he very much, reminded me. I was like, yeah, that's a Japanese sensei. Says very little.
Mm.
Says
Mhm.
very little, but understands like everything, like instantly. And so okay, he says like
Yes.
3 words, but you can see
Mhm.
by his expression that he understands. And so you actually, or have I got this right? You know, he assists a little bit also
Yes.
in um, the arc of
Mhm.
Kenji to get back to where he needs to be.
Yes.
And I think Toshi-san was saying he's not an actor at all. He's like a friend.
Um, he is an actor, but
Okay.
I think the way they got together was really interesting because um, his first contact was for an audition for a role of like a female princess, maybe like
What?
up till the 20s, and he entered as he applied for that audition. So he's like a really comical person on one side, but he's a great
Okay.
actor. And yeah,
Okay.
so his facial expressions like really
Yeah.
hit my acting as well. So he didn't speak like much lines, but everything that the expression, the facial expression, the body expression that comes as sensei. So Toksan's feeling really hit my heart itself, like as Rin. So you know, when we were shooting it, I actually like once couldn't control crying. So like I just started crying and I couldn't stop it. So I was like, okay, one more please.
cut, cut,
So
cut. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Need a break. Need five.
Mhm.
Need five.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
So
it came across as very authentic. I should ask you, did you guys get to keep the outfits, or I mean, any of these sorts of
no.
things? No, you had
No,
to give
no.
those back. Okay,
Yes.
you had to give
Mhm.
those back. Okay, because I mean, it's just really cool. And this was all filmed, I think, in Yokohama
Yes,
primarily.
in Kanagawa. So
Okay,
some places in Yokohama and some places a little bit out of Yokohama, but basically our training and everything starts from Yokohama.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Now talk about some of the, if you would, talk about some of the sword training, because you, unlike the first movie, in this
Mhm.
film, actually pick up a sword. And what I really liked was that a lot of the sword use in here was boken.
Mhm.
It was wooden sword, and so I really
Yes.
liked that. I liked, and I'm skipping a little bit ahead, but I liked that the final scene was a match
Mhm.
and not a duel. It was just
Mhm.
in the dojo,
Yes.
just going at it. So I take it you are not a martial arts student.
Yes, exactly. I
Okay,
have never trained like for martial arts before, and so it
okay,
was my first time actually even training myself to sword fighting and learning the kata. And so I think I really made a tough time for Toshi-san because I really sucked at learning the katas, and yes, so it was really difficult. But at the same time, like learning the right um, figures
Movement.
and the movements was the best experience that I could ever have. So
Mm.
I'm now really interested. Like if I do have an opportunity, I would like to learn martial arts and the more sword fighting skills. But
Mm.
um, I'm kind of busy on my job career right now, so I can't really focus on that. But if I do have a chance, I would love to be able to become a more better sword fighter so that I can actually maybe try something other than the bokeh next time.
Mm. Mm.
Hmm.
It's definitely worthwhile. I mean, I study a traditional Japanese martial arts, so there is, boken and
Hmm.
the bamboo, just for training. Or obviously, we're not going at it with live swords or anything like that. But yeah, I understand the movements are great. I enjoy them a great deal. But again, it was another aspect of how this character can uh, do just about everything.
Yeah.
The character can do just about everything.
Hmm.
It's just a really great character. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know if, I mean, did you really mean like in the traditional sense that in the samurai era you felt that women were weak, or I mean,
Like well, that's kind of like my bad of expressing it because I don't think that they were literally weak, but um
they didn't have that role.
yes, like
Yeah,
so on their side, they don't feel that they're on the weak side or whatever, but the masters or the lords, the way they look down
yeah,
to the samurais, and then the women, the wives of the samurai. I mean, the classification level of how they treated or looked down on you know two women were kind of hard against them, is what I thought. So
that sounds kind of accurate. I knew
yes.
that historically women were used as spies
Mm,
in the samurai kind of era because
mm-hmm,
men were so dismissive that
mm.
they would just openly talk, whatever they
Yeah.
wanted, the guy talk that they wanted to talk about, and the women would be there either serving tea or doing
Mm-hmm,
whatever in the restaurants or wherever they happen to be. And so all you needed was a pair of ears,
mm,
pretty much. And so yeah, that was actually something that was used, I guess, in warring times.
mm-hmm.
To their advantage, to the enemy's
Yes.
advantage, So
Mm-hmm,
that's what I meant by not weak. I'm like, no, they're not weak. It's just, just they're kind of ignored, And I'm like,
mm-hmm,
that turned out to be really stupid,
mm,
kind of a dumb thing to do, because it came back to bite them. So
mm-hmm,
I mean, the character, you know, Kenji eventually, finds his feet underneath him. It's a happy
mm-hmm,
ending. I liked that in the end, the two samurai that were competing, and I want to ask you about one more person before we, move on to a couple other things. But the one other
mm-hmm,
samurai, they end up sharing the rights to the dojo,
mm-hmm.
and I liked that very much. I thought that was
Shintaro.
great. Yes, Shintaro.
Mm-hmm,
'Cause I wasn't sure that I liked that character, and then I talked about it, and Toshi was explaining to me that he was just kind of disappointed in Kenji.
mm-hmm,
And that he wasn't, um, he in the end that they were able to patch that together. I
mm-hmm.
appreciated that very much.
Yes.
There was another actor or actress that I wanted to ask you about, and that
Mm-hmm.
was Sensei's wife. Um,
Oh, yes. Saito-san.
tell me a little bit about her, because I thought she was
Um,
another great character. She just had like a kind of poise. It
yes.
was just it was very much in the Japanese form. And that
Mm-hmm,
kind of thing. So it didn't require. I'm sure she's a fine performer, but it didn't require. It stayed within the structure of things. But I
mm-hmm.
thought she did a great job.
Yes. So she's actually the kimono coordinator for
Oh, that's
us.
right. Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
the lady characters costumes. So every time, it's kind of embarrassing to say this, but I can't wear a kimono by myself yet, because I can wear a yukata, but the kimono, the right way to wear it is
Oh.
is so difficult, and I am so bad at it. And every time Saito-san picks and selects the colors and the obi and the design for the obi on the backside is, you know it changes every time. So you know um she really has the understand deep understanding of the Japanese culture and the way they wore those kimonos at that time. So it's really exciting to be able to wear different kind of costumes and outfits, like, so she's a really great master of kimonos. And also, so because of that, the way she stands as sensei's wife is really you know strong. It's not strong, but the
It's a bit. I got him.
steadiness.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I interpreted it as a position that demanded great respect.
Mm. Hmm.
Just by default. Like this wasn't someone you were going to argue with. If
Yes.
something didn't roll your way, you like no one was going to. As much as there was feuding going on, there was going to be none of that with her.
Hmm.
That kind of thing. And so, maybe, having that classical sort of background,
Hmm.
lent to the authenticity of the
Yes.
character, because it did very much come across that way. It did very
Hmm.
much come across that way.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
Yep.
it's this movie has already, if I'm not mistaken, won several, quite a few awards. Um,
Yes.
is
Hmm.
that not the case? Would you like to talk about that a little bit? Hold on, let's see if
um
I can bring up the. Go ahead.
so yeah, they have the samurai has won the best feature for, um I believe, yes, like, two or three. And
Florence, and that's amazing.
yes. So
Milan,
also for this
Gold Awards,
Milan,
Florence
yeah.
Film Award, International
And
Film Awards,
yeah,
Seattle Independent
Seattle.
Film Festival. Holy crap!
Yes.
I mean,
So it was surprising because, first, Toshi-san applied for these four um film film
nominations.
festivals.
Okay, yeah.
And we were like, okay, let's see how it's going to turn out. And the results come out, we won all of it. So wow. So
Are you guys
it's
sure you're
amazing.
not
And
real? Are you sure you're not an actor? Actor? I mean, because you kept saying that you weren't, but it's not coming across that way.
yeah, it's really a big surprise for me. So um but the main characters like Kenji and Shintaro, them two are Daichi and Sone-san are really actors. So
Actors,
it's
actors.
it's
Okay.
thanks to them that they really built up the scenes really nicely. So
And thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of you.
hmm.
You guys all did a fantastic job. Um, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect because, unfortunately, the first time that I interviewed Toshi-san, I had an insane schedule,
Mm.
and I felt bad about the fact that I hadn't had a chance to watch The Ronins before we did the interview.
Ah, okay.
But it's me, so I can like talk about anything almost. So we ended up talking for like an hour. And then, bringing it back
Mm.
this time, I made sure that I watched both films. And so the Ronins
Mm-hmm.
was good, but I was and I told him this, when he came on, I was absolutely blown away by the Samurai.
Mm.
Um,
Wow.
Incredible. And I was saying that, you don't need, and I say this all the time, you don't need $250 million to make a good movie.
Mm.
It'd be nice. I mean, don't misunderstand
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm sure, it'd be great,
Yes.
but you don't need a big blustery CGI. thing
Mm.
going on. I mean, there are
Yes.
tons of movies that, maybe, we'll use that, Lord of the Rings or something. And they're
Mhm.
fantastic. Don't misunderstand me. Star Wars, whatever. Um, but you need a good story. You need,
Mhm.
performers. You need a tight script, and just people who
Yes.
care. He told me you guys did this in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So we could only practice on weekends because like members there are actors, but like people like me work daily on weekdays, so we can actually only go shoot out on weekends. So it kind of took us time to uh, break down the schedules. So
Hmm.
I think Toshi-san, does everything. Makes the schedules and the time to practice our English lines, maybe, and then actually have the try out the outfits and everything. So it was a hard schedule, but um, it didn't really. It took a little bit more than 2 weeks because I think we started about in December or December. December was it? Toshi-san. I don't remember, but it,
I'm
it
like, are
took
you
it took
asking me?
more.
I wasn't there. Why are you asking me these things? Stop. Don't put me on the spot.
Maybe yeah, just
Yeah,
like
sure. It was December.
thinking if yes, and
Are you
it
there,
took
Toshi-san?
about
Did it happen in December? If you're in the chat, let us
so
know.
three months or so. So we could
Okay.
only shoot out on weekends. So that was kind of why it was difficult. But as you said, I just wanted to mention because the story is really interesting because to me it's like you know we have these kind of visions of having the American comical side mixed into this Japanese samurai movie. So the taste of having a little bit of comedy, like, is not the Japanese comedy like, but the kind of American comedy like scenes are what we like to challenge. So it's like maybe this line, it kind of you can remember that movie or that scene. Maybe that line came from this scene. So you know we want people to enjoy
Yeah.
kind of thinking over of okay, that connects to this scene, that this character stands out as that character, and we got images and the connections to having fun in building up the scenes. But if we do it like in a big industry like a movie thing, we couldn't challenge those kind of challenges. So
Right.
that's what I like about participating in Toshi-san's productions.
You
It's
have
really
more
cool.
freedom. You have more
Yes.
freedom. And so I mean, that's the problem we're having now in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is being driven by producers.
Mm.
And so you're getting a lot of producer driven content. It takes no chances. A lot of it is boring. You're seeing we're getting a lot of reboots and
Mm.
endless sequels and just this derivative kind of garbage. And so it is. It's very
Mm.
bad. People are. I've been saying it for a long time, as long as I've been running this show. But people are
Mm-hmm.
starting to catch on, and these big major production houses like Warner Brothers, they're $50 billion in debt because they're just not
Mm.
making. Nobody's going to see these things anymore, and part of it has to do with COVID and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I think that cinema and film is going to be fine because of examples like this,
Mm-hmm.
where people are just kind of doing it themselves.
Mm.
You have this DIY. It's like in
Mm-hmm.
America, in the YouTube world, we kind of call it the Iron Age, where people are just kind of making their own. They're making their own, cinema. They're making their own
Mm-hmm.
films.
Yeah.
They're making their own graphic novels and comics, and things
Mm-hmm.
like that because the Marvels and the DCs they're kind of falling away.
Mm.
But
I see.
the fans can do it themselves. You have and Toshi-san have the background and the experience to just say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I I know the story. Why not just let's all get together and put it together. and so you
Mm.
have. So congratulations, um,
Yeah.
congratulations for this
Thank you.
success. Yeah, it's a fantastic
Mm-hmm.
thing. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. This film is available on Amazon Prime here in the U.S. Please consider it's very inexpensive. I think it's like $2.99 for a rental. It's
Mm-hmm.
$5.99 for a purchase. I rented it and it was so good. I immediately went out and purchased not only that but the Ronins also. So for like $10,
Mm-hmm.
you can see actually two decent films in America now. It's almost $20 for a ticket to see a terrible movie. Save your money. Stay at home, on your comfortable couch, and watch something worthwhile. Toshi Asaka's The Samurai and The Ronins.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie Onishi is in both of them. Give them a chance. Give them a chance. There are good people out here making good films, and
Thank you.
they need an audience. Yeah, thank you. I tell you what. What's next on the horizon? What do you have coming up? Are you on a break?
Uh,
Um, or do you
well,
want to get right back into it? What's the story?
yeah. Actually, I'm kind of shifting jobs, and
Okay,
so I'm going to be
good.
a bit busy from June, and because of that, I'm kind of trying to work out my schedule to work with the next movie that Toshi-san is developing right now. And so, he has the script already finished, and he's trying to figure out which character goes to, this character, to this person fits that. And I think he's kind of developing that right now. But
Okay.
I really do want to participate in that movie. But my job career on the other side is going to be a little bit, busy. So I have to kind of try
Can
to
you
adjust
uh,
if I can do both.
can you give us a hint as to what it's about, or you're not allowed to say, or I don't want to put that. I don't want to put you on the
Yeah.
spot. I don't want to get you in a bad
Yeah.
spot. Okay, maybe I withdraw the question. I withdraw the
Hmm.
question. Hold on a second. We have a comment here. Oh, hey, it's Mr. Dan. What's happening, Dan? Stops
Hi,
by all the
Mr.
time. He's
Dan.
saying hello. So I mean, right now you're just trying to free up your time to hopefully get another film going.
Yes.
Um, Here's a question. Dream project. Dream
Oh.
project. Do you have anything that you would want to do? Because I was talking to this guy. He lives over in Scotland. This guy named
Hmm.
Tony, and like he's like you. He was doing something else, and then he remembered that he was like on the stage, like in
Hmm.
high school,
Mm.
and he got back into it, like later in life. Like he's kind of my age, so he's like a
Hmm.
thousand years old, and um, he got lucky. Like he had small parts in Peaky Blinders.
Mm.
He had
Hmm.
small part, like he had almost like but he had a small part in The Crown.
Yeah.
So he's gotten really lucky. But then he's also lost a couple of projects. So
Mm.
now he's possibly being called up for the second season of House of the Dragon.
Oh, wow.
So on HBO, yeah, he's gotten
Hmm.
lucky. So I mean, in a perfect world, a dream project for you, something you'd like to do, the next Takashi
Yeah.
Miike film or something like that sort of craziness.
Hmm.
Because that guy's batshit crazy. I'm
Yeah.
thoroughly that guy's batshit crazy. I'm thoroughly convinced. Scary. I mean, like
Yeah.
he doesn't say
Hmm.
anything. He's very quiet too. He's like, oh, no, oh, no. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, through the television screen, he's scaring me. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. That's all right, buddy.
Yeah. So, my dream project, like literally when I grew up, like ever since, I wanted to be in Hollywood, actually, like as not the main characters, but like maybe the person who walks on the street. But
You want to be an extra?
yes, I really wanted to be in part of an extra movie in Hollywood. Is like I was saying that I'm gonna do that until I become 40, but I'm turning 39 this year, and I was like, okay, maybe that's not gonna work. But
45,
um,
45,
maybe 45. It could happen,
45.
maybe.
Yeah.
And
if you had said, the only thing that would have been like too much for me is if you had said Sex in the City, in which case I was going to end the stream right here, like cut you off in like mid sentence. Yeah, not on this channel, lady. All right, not today.
yeah.
Not today. But no, you know, I had I don't know if you remember the show The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they here in America they used to have a contest where, like, if you won something, you could be an extra in The Walking Dead. They would give you the makeup, and you would be a walker. I tried for like an entire season to get on there, just like, you know, so I could lurch around, you know, and do some really stupid stuff. Of course, it didn't happen, but yeah, I get it. I get it. So your dream is just to be an extra in a Hollywood film.
Yeah, I mean, like, for movie wise, yes. I mean, I just want to be like, I want to be, you know, there to see how they make movies in Hollywood. It's just like what I wanted to see. But, you know, not on the offside, but, you know, if you're going to go there, then I'd rather participate as an extra, you know, just walk by the street.
Yeah,
you know, if I could do that, it would be so exciting. But you know, that's just like a dream. Yes.
No, it happens all the time. You know, it probably happens all the time, and you know, you build up enough credits. It's probably something maybe it's something that'll happen for you one day. I certainly hope it does. That's a cool thing. It's a cool. You know, it's a modest. You know, it's a good deal. Good deal. All right. Is there anything that we did not address that you would like to discuss? Tired of hearing my voice. You know, anything? Did we cover? Are we okay?
Yes, I think so. I really, you know, appreciate again, you know, for you for letting me participate in this show tonight. So it was a pure pleasure, and it was an honor to be able to talk to you, and you know, to hear your opinions about the Samurai. It was
a pleasure to have you.
Big thanks to you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you on. This will be uploaded tomorrow. I'll send you the links. It'll be on Spotify, Audible. So, you know, you can feel free to, you know, do whatever you like with them. You know,
thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're on the other side of the planet, but thank you very much. So.
Yes, and I hope everyone watches The Samurai because
please, you know,
a great movie.
It's a fantastic movie. It's a fantastic movie. All right, my thanks to Yukko Ellie Onishi for stopping by. You know, maybe if I make it out to Tokyo, I'll connect with Toshi-san, and you know, we can. Yeah, that would be very cool. So hopefully, like I said, by the end of the year, that would be great. It's going to be cold then, but I miss going to Japan, and I miss Sensei, and I miss my friends. So I want to get out there and see everybody. Well, that's it for this end here. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Stick around for a second, okay? It's good to do the outro.